Hello, hello, and welcome. I'm Debbie Danford from craftiercreations.blogspot.com. And today I'm coming to you with a quick, easy Z-fold card. Now, I know sometimes we see some of these fancy folds and we think, oh my gosh, they're way too difficult. This one is so easy. And I will go through the measurements as we make it today. I forgot to cut one piece, I'm just realizing, but that's okay, we'll cut it. But I will post all the measurements in the description down below, so you'll have them all there too. We are going to use the Textured Notes dies, and then I'm using the Woven Textures, say that 3 times, Designer Series paper. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're only going to be using Memento Black, and I think I used crumb cake when I stamped that little background there, but I can't remember, and we're just going to go with it. Oh, I used Smoky Slate, Gray Granite, and Memento. So there we go. See, if I'd have looked at my own little notes. So let's bring out those colors. So we're going to use 3 colors. Guess I did make my own notes there. And like I said, double Z fold here. Okay, so I have the card base here. Now our card base is 5.5 by 11, and then it is scored at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. So that's 1 3/4. Let me just double check that. 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. And then we have the inside piece, which is 3 by 6, scored in the middle at 3 inches. Okay, that's those 2 pieces. Then we have a piece of basic black for the inside, which is 2 3/4 square. And then the white piece to go on top is 2.5 square. So 2.5 by 2.5, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. That's those 2 pieces. Okay, then we have 2 pieces that are going to layer on top of this piece of basic black. And these 2 are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so there's those 2. You can see I'm using 2 coordinating pieces. You could do other, several different patterns if you wanted, but I kind of kept it as 2 coordinating pieces. And I felt like this could be a great Father's Day or a great guy card. And then you have 3 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4 that we have cut there. And we need 1 piece that's 3. I didn't cut this one yet. This is the one I didn't cut yet. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So let me see. I have one here. Let me see if it's big enough. Oh, it's not quite long enough. So I've got all these scraps laying here, but I think we're going to have to cut into a full sheet here. So let me just bring in the paper trimmer, and we're going to go ahead and cut that one. So we're going to go 3 3/4. And then this is the back side of it. This paper is so pretty. And this is one of my favorite sheets right here because you can stamp on this one and you can alter it. If you watched last week's video, I used the same bundle and I used this sheet and we altered the color of it with Misty Moonlight. So if you didn't catch that, definitely go watch that one. Okay, so there's all our bits and pieces. And no, that's 5 1/4. That's why I messed up on the other one. Because it's a little bit longer. Dang it, Debbie. Measure twice, cut once. Isn't that what they always say? Yeah, 5 1/4. I was going with the standard size of 3 3/4 by 5, but because of the way this card lays out, it's a little bit different. Okay, so there's our inside piece. We're going to stick all that right there. All right, let's go ahead and Normally, you guys all know that I work in a flat, I like to work in this, in a flat surface. So we're going to go ahead and kind of do that here at the beginning. I'm going to pull in this piece of Designer Series paper, and it's going to go right here. So let's go ahead and attach that. And if you're one that likes to fold first, you certainly can fold first. We'll go through the folding here in just a minute. But I always find it easier, if you can, to kind of work where it's all flat. It just makes it easier to line things up, and you're not constantly dealing with, especially with this card, because it doesn't want to lay flat. Okay, so when we pull this in, we're going to put these 3 pieces here are going to go 1, 2, 3. If you wanted to put one there, you certainly can. I didn't, because I felt like it's kind of on the inside and you're attaching your other Z part of the card there. So I didn't do that. So then let's go ahead and attach these. And I'm just going to grab my mono glue this time. Okay. Let's put this one here. And hopefully I cut these. This one seems like it's off. So they should be 1.5. Oh, Debbie. They should be 1.5 by 5 1/4. So that's 1.5, not 1 3/4. So now that I've already put glue on that, but we're going to make it work. We're just going to stick this in here. And yes, I'll have to wipe down my inside of my trimmer. But I'm going to go ahead and attach this one while the glue is still there, and then we'll trim these 2 down. Okay, 1.5. I apologize for that. And then you always have little strips you can use on other cards or something. And 1.5. Okay, paper trimmer out of the way. I think we're done with it. All right, so now let's go ahead and add. This one will go here. There's that one, and then this one will go here. Now, if I didn't really keep the pattern together here on this one, mainly now because I cut strips off of it. If you were picking some Designer Series paper that had a very distinctive pattern, you might want to think about keeping it, you know, all together. I think in this card, it's not going to matter, and you're not going to be able to tell it, you know, that much of a difference. Okay, then this piece, because this is going to go like this. See, I have to even look at myself how I did it. This is going to go like this on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this piece to here, and then we'll do some stamping. So and then we'll fold everything up. I think I want it to go this way though. Okay. And then let's just kind of set those aside. Now let's go ahead and pull in a scrap piece here that we're going to stamp on. I'm going to fold it in half. I always find it a little bit easier. And let's see. And of course I forgot to put stuff on blocks. Look at me. All right, let's bring in, we're going to use this one. And I didn't put a phrase on this. Now you certainly could. And here I'll show you kind of where. So if you wanted to, you could stamp, like I have this hello from the Simply set. I was almost thinking about maybe stamping that right down here in the corner. We'll see as we put it together. Okay. And like I said, this one doesn't like to stay flat. And I did have it under my mat and everything for several days to kind of help flatten it out. Okay. let's put this on a block, this one, and then this one will go on this big block right here. Okay, and I don't know, I may not do it exactly like I did this one, but we're going to just go for it here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ink up the circle first in gray granite. And I'm going to stamp off once. I think I want it lighter, so it'll be like that, okay? So I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm just stamping right down here in this corner with that little circle, or basket weave. It's kind of a basket weave circle. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to take, and that's all we're going to use the gray granite for. Then I'm going to take smoky slate, and I'm going to use the little leaves here. And again, I'm going to stamp off, even though smoky slate is a little bit light. Yeah, I'm going to do both with smoky slate. Because smoky slate is a little bit lighter, and I might need to re-ink this one. I don't know. And I'm just going to randomly stamp some of those. Now, I am seriously thinking about stamping the little hello right down here in the bottom before I get too far along. So, memento. And I might have stamped this sleeve with in the memento too. I don't know. You can, and I might do some in that too. So let's go ahead and just ink up our hello. Because you could still say, oh, it didn't ink up quite like I wanted, but we're not gonna try and line it up. I'm gonna leave it, because what I'm going to do is, if you have our Stampin' Write markers, and these are old ones, we have new ones out there now, or any kind of really fine tip marker, you can easily fix when it's simple. Like this one is pretty simple, and I could easily fix that. And voila, it's done. You don't even know I stamped funky on it. Okay, let's bring that memento back in. And I'm going to ink up the bigger leaf here. And I am definitely stamping that one in full strength right from the corner, just like that. I like it. I'm debating. I'm thinking about doing this one in some black also, but second and third generation, and just a little bit of it, just to bring a little bit more color in there. And then we're going to take a sponge dauber, and you could use sponge dauber, you could use a blending brush, it doesn't matter. But this time, and usually I use blending brushes almost all the time. But this time I grabbed a dauber. And I think I used a blending brush on that one, but doing something a little different here. Okay. Pretty. Now, before we put everything away, let me pull this. I want to show you what I did right here on the inside. So we're just going to take this piece here, and I took the little one, the little leaf, and then I just stamped second, third, several generations of stamping there. And if you wanted to do a little bit of daubing on here, you certainly could here too. And there we go. There's our inside. Okay, I think we're done with stamping. Let's go ahead and move these out of the way. Okay, now let's do a little bit of assembly. Let's go ahead and attach this to this. This will go on here like this. Okay, and that's our inside. And then let's go ahead, and this is going to go on here like this. Okay. We have that there. All right, now let's do our folding. Let's move this out of the way. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go mountain, valley, mountain, valley, just like that. And that's how you end up with that. Pretty cool, huh? Now, what you want to go back and do is burnish all of these really, really good. Looks like I put that piece on crooked, but that's okay. Because like I said, this one likes to pop up a little bit. It's not going to lay flat. And then what we're going to do here, this is a mountain fold. And then this is going to be attached. We're going to put a little bit of adhesive right there and a little bit of adhesive right here. Now you can decide, do you want this down, center, up above? There's no right or wrong. I mean, we could put it down below if we wanted, but I think I'm going to still go ahead and kind of go with the center. Now, what I'm going to do, I do one side first and then I do the other side. That way, hopefully, I get it on straight. See, I said hopefully. And I just put two little, my adhesive wanted to move way over to the side. I put two strips down. Okay, and then again, I'm holding this down and I'm not measuring anything. I'm kind of just eyeballing here, but I kind of want it in the center. But again, I'm just eyeballing. So then this piece goes right here. You just push that one down really good. And then we're going to do the same thing back here. So I'm going to two strips. And there's that piece there. Now, when I attach this one, this is how I did it. I laid it down. Well, I'm going to put some adhesive on here first. Make sure it's going to go this way. So I want this to go like this. And I lay it on top of here. And I make sure it's straight. And then I close it. I don't push too hard till I open it back up just to make sure I did get it straight on there, and I did. And that way you don't see it. And there you go. That's our double Z fold, but we got to do one more thing. Let's add some blingity blings. And I do like just the little hello down there in the corner. I think that kind of helped a little bit. I mean, I like how this one turned out, but I like that hello down there. I think that added to it. Woohoo! What do you think? I was going to cut for another card and I forgot all about it and I got excited to get started, I guess. But there you go, a double Z fold. So I will try and do another one with some other paper that I have in mind. But I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. And if you do not have a demonstrator, please let me know. I can, if you don't have a catalog, or you can get on my email list. That way you get all the updates about any classes I do. I'm pretty much hybrid. I do in-person and virtual classes, so I offer both. So I have a lot of options out there, but if you're not on my mailing list, definitely get on my mailing list. That's the best way to keep up with, and especially when we have like sales and promotions and things like that going on too. I will see you guys all again next week. Thanks for joining me. Bye.